Hi Chelsea fans, it's Chels Daft here with another of the news update videos this evening. And once again, there's plenty to feature, including news on Christian Pulisic, Frank Lampard talks Thiago Silva, Kai Havertz talks Chelsea, what he thinks of the league and this year's targets, along with Timo Werner, who took part in the pre-match press conference ahead of the game against Rennes tomorrow evening. There's plenty to feature in the video. Drop a like on it for me, subscribe to the channel, but make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss my videos come out. But as usual, let's get cracking. So to Christian Pulisic and the update we received this afternoon from Frank Lampard in his pre-match press conference. And thankfully, the update is that it's a very minor problem. Pulisic felt something in his hamstring, a sensation in his hamstring before the Burnley game, and to his credit, flagged it up, and Chelsea pulled him from the team with Timo Werner stepping in, and we know what happened after. Frank Lampard, when asked of Christian Pulisic, he said he had his scan and it showed a very minor injury to his hamstring, very minor. He's already back outside training. He won't be fit for tomorrow, but we'll see after that. It's obviously a relief that the injury is on the small side. Christian made the right decision not to play. That could have made it a lot worse. It's clearly a relief that hopefully we'll have him back very soon. The thing is as well with hamstring injuries is he had a big one, as we all saw in the FA Cup final. And it's just, you just have to know when you can push it and when you can't. Maybe getting involved in playing quite a few games and being involved in a few since his comeback has been a bit too much, and it's just his body telling him that he needs to go easy. Let's see if he's going to be available at the weekend, but I think I wouldn't even risk him at this particular stage. I think there's much more, or there's bigger fish to fry. So I would just be thankful for the fact that Christian Pulisic, his hamstring injury is not as bad as first feared, but there is a problem. It looks as though he's been called up by the US team for their games coming up, and that's not ideal. So to Thiago Silva and the impact and the influence that he's had at Chelsea since he's arrived. And we've seen him come in, he joined up with the team later than other people, and it took him some time to get up to the level where he could play first team football. But it was last week against Krasnodar away where he didn't travel, where some eyebrows were raised. And Frank Lampard was asked about the situation with Thiago Silva and managing his playing time. And he said this: it's very important. It's a question I had about Christian Pulisic, and it's a question I've got asked about N'Golo Kanté towards the back end of last season. I think within the squad you try to have standards and levels that you train at. Physical work, we gauge everyday fitness work and the input of the players. We try to balance it out so every single player is at their optimum and every player is different in their own way. And I think in particularly when you have an experienced player who's such a great professional as Thiago is, that honest conversation is easy. If it means managing training, managing game time as we did last week with Russia, I'll be very upfront and honest with him in terms of what I think and what he thinks. We will do our best. I remember at the back end of my career, I had to change my training program. So I would be very open for small tweaks for Thiago. Now after a bit of a shaky start against West Brom, Thiago Silva has just been imperious. He's come in and settled things down. And he's a talker, he's a leader, he's someone that players look to. He's everything we didn't have last season. And when he's not in that back four or in that defensive line, okay, against Krasnodar, it was slightly different because we were far superior going forward. But in the Premier League against Burnley, in a tough game, Burnley never got a look in because of the way we played in our formation and shutting down the space. But when he's been called upon, Thiago Silva was outstanding and has been outstanding. See, I look at Thiago Silva and I think he's really enjoying the challenge of the Premier League, testing himself. And up against Barnes and Wood last week, up against some of the players he's come up against already, you can tell that he's sort of really relishing, like, you know, playing. Look at last week, Man United, great challenge on Cavani, his ex-teammate, late in the game that kept it 0-0. Just his sense of movement, his sense of awareness. And if it means we've got to manage him to extend his stay and extend how much he can play, then I'm all for it. Are you? Have you been impressed with Thiago Silva? Kai Havertz now is someone that divides opinion based on my video yesterday, with comments made by Frank Leboeuf stating that Kai Havertz needs to sort of be more and do more in games. And he's been talking himself, Havertz, of the Chelsea targets and the biggest challenge in adapting to life in the Premier League. And this is what people need to understand and to remember. This guy's only 21. He's been exposed to a level of football which, no disrespect to the Bundesliga, has sort of gone up here. And he even says it himself in relation to the quality of the players that he's playing up against. But he's someone that people love him straight away, or people are warming to him, or people just think he needs to do more. Which one are you? But Havertz has been talking himself, and he said this: the first target always is to have success, and the main thing is to be healthy and have fun playing football. Then of course you have to win titles, and we have big players here, a good coach, so our goal is to win titles. That's the reason why we're all here, and hopefully we can do that. You're always happiest on the pitch when you win, when you score goals and you make assists. The worst feeling in football is to lose games and play bad, and after that you have like 3 days in which you can only think about the game before. So the best thing is to make sure you win games, score goals and have fun, and that's the most important thing for me. When he was after the Premier League, he said it's more physical and you won't find a bad player in the league. Even the teams that play in the lower regions of the league have got very good players, and it's all about technical football. I think every team wants to attack to score goals, so the games are very difficult to win. The whole league is very good, and that's the most different thing here. That interview is posted in the official match programme, which you can buy online from Chelsea, so make sure you go to the official Chelsea website. So listen, I get what people are saying when they're talking about Kai Havertz, and they're maybe saying that you know he needs to do a lot more. He's getting used to the Premier League. He's getting used to being in the country and living here. This sort of move where he seems to drift around the pitch, and I've said it before, and this is why I get why people are maybe a little bit critical. He seems to play at times where he's like at half paced or 3/4 pace. He's not really bursting going forward. Like, think Mateo Kovacic, when he drifts between tackles and he bursts forward from midfield. Havertz is never really at full pelt. You don't really see him really to stretch his legs and go. And I think that's the difference. But he's got this class about it. I'm not saying, I mean, obviously Kovacic has, but the way that Havertz plays, he sort of drifts through games and in games, and then he sort of comes up with a little bit of magic, whether it's a pass, a finish. We just need to give the guy time to settle in and to settle down. So to Timo Werner today, who took the pre-match press conference after Frank Lampard ahead of Rennes Champions League tomorrow, and he believes that Chelsea have got a good chance to win the Champions League this season. What can you say about Timo Werner so far this season? Outstanding for me, absolutely outstanding. Different class, awareness, movement, willingness to just play where the manager wants him to play, to do a job. He just strikes you as being completely professional, lightning pace, great feet. He's just taken us to another level, and his goal and his involvement on the weekend was evidence of that once again, bearing in mind he was supposed to be on the bench. So he's been talking, and it's just great to see him really settle down and play with a smile on his face and look as though he's really settled into Chelsea. When he was talking of the situation with the Champions League and with major honours this season, he said this: every team now that plays in Europe plays every 3 days. Every team, not only us. They play Wednesday, Saturday. It's difficult. But we've got a big squad of good players. We have so many players and so many good players. I think with this, we have to have the goal to come very far in the competition. We are not here to say we'll get in the next round and we will see. We are here to win the Champions League in the next years. This year's a good chance because everybody in the competition has a lot of games, and every team has to think about how they can manage it, who they can play, how many games they can play consecutively. For me, I think we got a good chance this year, but also in the next years. Like I said when I arrived, I came here to win titles. We're in a good way. We are learning from each other, and we got a good chance to come very far in this competition. So that's it from me, guys. Rennes tomorrow is a game where we must win in the Champions League. Sevilla are playing Krasnodar. Obviously, we're going to keep an eye on their score because we need to make sure we finish top of the group. It'll all come down to the next game against Sevilla away from home, and hopefully we'll be in a good place. Chelsea should be the favourites for the game tomorrow, but as we all know, you have to earn the right to win your games, and hopefully Chelsea will do exactly that. If you like this video, smash the like button for me, then subscribe to my channel, and make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss my videos come out, which is pretty much daily apart from the weekends. Have a great Tuesday night. Let's have a look for some surprises in the Champions League tonight maybe, then we can focus on tomorrow. Enjoy your Tuesday. See you tomorrow.